some best bets for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday live on the site. But first, let's tell you about some things that you should have bet.
And here's my cue to do the transition. We'll see how we go. Well, we should have bet that. Let's go.
Should have bet that.
All right, let me talk my crap for a minute here, Jace. It was finally a clean sweep on College Corner on Tuesday. We did get a few winning slips in from the Discord with those who tailed along, but it was a long time coming. We had so much success in the College Corner during college football season. It's been a slow start with college hoops, but everybody knows March is when you make your money. And this was some good momentum to carry us in to the most important portion of the season. We also had a big win in the Discord from 110%. You want to tell them more, Jace?
Yeah, that's right. So College Quarter is back, and indeed it is. 3 bets on Tuesday's episode that was sent out on YouTube and the podcast catching apps. If you haven't already subscribed to Dimers, make sure you do that. But College Corner, Greg, that will be on the show a little bit later on. 3 bets from Tuesday slate: Kentucky to cover the spread, Oklahoma and UCLA. And this just goes to show as well. So we had legs. The parlay was around about plus 567, but Discord user 110%, and we have to give a shout out to him, used a odds boost to perfection, boosting it up to plus 709. And I think in general, across the community, if you haven't already joined the community on Dimers Pro and dimers.com, lots of great stuff in there shared by the community, whether it be slips or insights or data from the site that people are sourcing. You can jump on there, and I just want to give a shout out to our man 110%, who has been printing, so to speak, in the Discord recently. At the moment, if you go on there, he's been posting a whole bunch of stuff. So I just want to give a shout out to him as one of the heroes of the week on Dimers Pro. But I think we do have a little bit later on College Corner Thursday edition, your 3 best bets of the night. So
yes, sir.
We'll dive into that a little bit later on.
Yeah, it's a big weekend in the sport. There's some prime time matchups. One on Friday night that I'll be in attendance for that we're going to talk about too. So little teaser for you there. But shout out to 110%. It's always good to see the wins in the Discord. That community continues to grow, and feels like every single day somebody's winning something in there that you can find on the site. Speaking of the site, Dimers Pro is what you need to get all these insights in real time for yourself. Promo code podcast gets you 50% off of your first purchase of Dimers Pro. And we've got an app now that's new this year, and it is awesome. Jace, you put a lot of work, I believe, into the development or the ideology of that app, because years ago when I worked with you at Dimers, it was just a seedling of our imagination. Now it's this beautiful product. So you're back on the show. You unveiled it for us the first time. You made a quick appearance here, but how's it been going? And can you give a little plug for using the app?
Yeah, the feedback has been great so far. It is still like a V1. So we are about a month since its initial release. If you go into the App Store or the Google Play Store and search for Dimers, you'll be able to download it and check it out. Still a V1. At the moment, it kind of takes our best bets and best props pages and puts them into the app, as well as the DimeBot AI assistant. We are already at work on V2, which all kind of indications are that the V2 will kind of come out just as we head into March Madness, and that's going to include some additional screens such as the player prop projections, match pages, match predictions, and also hopefully towards the back end of March, start of April, some bet slip integration. So kind of remove the friction that some users have right now of trying to take a bet that they find on Dimers and go to a sports book and place the bet. That'll all be integrated onto the app. So yeah, if you haven't already, now's the time to jump on Dimers Pro. You can see that promo code up the top there, podcast. That'll get you 50% off. You'll get access to the web tools and also the app tools. So jump onto that. I will just say this is we're doing it live, and we've got a decent amount of viewers at the moment. I did encourage people to leave comments, but I can't seem to get the comments to work on the integration. So I can't see what you're saying. I wish I could, but I can't see what you're saying. So there was always going to be some kind of technical glitch, But
It sounds like a green light to say whatever they want at our expense, honestly. But just
yeah,
keep it classy, Dimers Nation.
I was going to say, my wife is watching. She likes to make fun of my Australian accent. So if you want to make fun of my accent, please feel free to.
I think they should be making fun of us for not having an
That's
accent
it.
as close to space. That's how I feel. All right, cool. You heard from the best on that. Dimers, the app form makes it super easy. Get Dimers Pro. Make sure you get all this for yourself whenever you want. Okay, we're going to turn to NBA next. Like I alluded to, there are 10 games in the association for Thursday night. How do you want to do this, Jace? Do you want to just pull up sort of the predictions hub and start from there?
Yeah, let's do it. So let me bring this up here. So we'll go to NBA. It is a big slate. We are about a week since the All-Star break, a week removed from the All-Star break. Look, it's an interesting slate. You wouldn't say there's too many marquee games. Lakers, there's been a little bit of discourse over the last 24 to 48 hours about how they respond after their loss against the Magic a couple of nights ago. That'll be an interesting one, but yeah, we've got the line here. I'll kind of enlarge this so people can see what I'm talking about. Got the Lakers at -6. I don't know if I ever trust the Lakers in this iteration of that team, -6 points. So I would steer clear of that personally. The Heat and 76 is probably the closest one on the docket in terms of how the market, and actually I'd say as well, the Rockets and Magic is maybe the pick of the bunch for tonight. But going it over to the best bets page, and I guess a lot of people would know me from the Dimers Pro Discord community. I do try and manage that Discord. I try and chip in on the customer service tickets and everything like that. I do get a lot of questions around how to use the site, how to use the data on site, what different strategies people have. And I'm sure you guys have spoken about this before. Last time I came on, I spoke about the Model Insight report. That was probably around about 2 and a bit months ago. And since then, we've kind of adapted the back-end model reporting figures into the site and also on the app. And that's tagged with the sweet spot signal. So that shows you exactly where the model is performing best against the market. And it's a really good way to kind of drill down and kind of, I guess, qualify some of the bets that you're seeing. Sometimes you can go on to especially a loaded slate like tonight where there's so many bets. Can get overwhelming. If you use that sweet spot filter, this will show exactly where the model is performing best against the sports books in terms of when we identify an edge against the sports book. So this is fluctuating all the time because the lines and the odds do change. This has changed even in the last 15 to 20 minutes. So at the moment, what we have here coming up from sweet spot signal is the Timberwolves to win. Now it's -210, so it's not a great bet to take straight out. However, it is a parlay piece. They're coming up against the Clippers tonight. Kawhi has the questionable tag. That's not news. Happens every game, but might not play. John Collins is also questionable, so they could be a little bit depleted. They made that trade for Garland. He still hasn't suited up yet. He won't be on the floor, but the Timberwolves, obviously the better team on paper, are going into this as kind of 6-point favorites. Our model has been profitable for moneyline plays when we've had an edge range of around about that 2 to 3% mark. So I'd say it is a parlay piece here. And then we did speak about before that probably the marquee matchup tonight is the Rockets and the Magic. And our model is siding with the Rockets to win with some better odds there, -152 on the money line. Once again, that's in a range that our model has had historical success with over the course of this season. So probably 2 to look out for there. Now we descend into some interesting plays here. And I don't know if in my wildest dreams I could have ever imagined that the Charlotte Hornets would be starting 13-point favorites in a game, but they are against the Pacers. And they are, I think the Hornets are 9-1 at the spread in their last 10. So this is a sweet spot and has returned a really decent ROI this year, close to 10% across a sample size of around about 60 bets. So it's probably up to personal preference. The model says yes. It is a little bit scary taking the Pacers or even the Pacers at plus 13. They are really depleted at the moment. The Hornets are rolling. They've covered the spread in 9 of the last 10. But sometimes you have to trust the data and the process, and that goes likewise for the Nets. Something I did want to highlight though, so I would say that my best bets of the night from a personal standpoint are the Rockets to win against the Magic, and also as a parlay piece, maybe throw in the Timberwolves on the money line. But the one I really wanted to speak about here was the Kings and the Mavs under 234. This has been kind of seesawing over the last hour or so. It was 234.5 about an hour ago, went down to 233, now up to 234. I really like the under here. And once again, this falls in a sweet spot of probably the most profitable area for our model this year, which is over under bets with an edge of around about 2%. So what that kind of means is we've run our model simulations against the sportsbook model simulations. We think there's a higher chance of the under than the sportsbooks do, and that's kind of what the edge and the percentage is. And that has returned, when we've found bets in a similar range, a 22% ROI across a sample size of around about 30%. So this is, from a personal standpoint, I've done the due diligence. I've looked into this and kind of made a case as to why I think this is a really good bet, and probably my pick of the bunch from your traditional kind of money line spreads and totals. And I think really, the Kings are on the second night of a back-to-back. This season, they've been averaging 108 points on the second night of a back-to-back. So not a great offensive side already. Seem to be a little bit worse on the second night of a back-to-back. They have more injuries, already missing Sabonis and Zach LaVine. Westbrook is going to be out. Keegan Murray is not playing. Nick Monk is questionable. So a pretty awful team is going to be even more hamstrung by injuries. So just a tough offensive unit, or a tough offensive game coming up potentially for those guys. And then Dallas have injuries as well. PJ Washington's out, Cooper Flagg's out. So we're going to be running a lot of kind of, second and third string guys on both squads at the moment. And then it's a battle of the worst three-point shooting team in the league in the Kings against one of the best defenders of the three-point shot this season in the Mavs, probably ranking, I think, in the top 5. So DeMar DeRozan, he's projected, I think, for 15 points by our model. The mid-range game might be firing here because the Mavs are able to defend it quite well, defend the three. So this might be a game that DeMar DeRozan shines in, but still the under 233, with all those factors considered, is probably the one that I'm looking at as the pick of the bunch today.
I like it. Yeah, I think the Nets Spurs game is another one where it's back-to-back opportunity for the Spurs, and to see the Nets catching 10.5, similar situation to kind of what you were laying out with the Kings game there. I always love to double-check schedules when it comes to NBA betting. If you're going against the spread, pay attention to what teams are in the middle of the second leg of a back-to-back. You'll see absences. You'll see just a different approach from pretty much every franchise in the association with those spots. So good shouts there. Let's talk props. You could pull up the player projections page for us.
Yeah. I'm heading over to player projections, and I've earmarked a couple here that I want to look at. And Luka Doncic is the number one projected player, or number one projected point scorer by our model, with 30 points tonight against the Suns. It has been an interesting couple of days for Luka. He had the chance at a pretty decent look against the Magic to win the game at the buzzer. Not last night, the night before, I believe. He didn't take it past LeBron. LeBron kind of threw Luka under the bus a little bit, and I think so did a few others on the Lakers in the post-game interviews that they thought Luka should have taken the shot. Luka says that he thought he was too far back to make the shot. That's led into some discourse today on First Take. I was watching Stephen A. and Brian Windhorst talk about, is Luka trustworthy or reliable enough to take the Lakers to a championship? And I think Luka, we all know he has that dog in him. I think this is, if anything, maybe a kind of go F yourself. I don't know if I can swear on YouTube live, but go F yourself type of game to maybe LeBron, to maybe the media. And he's projected to score 30 points by our model against the Suns. I think it's, as I said, I don't trust the Lakers to cover the 6. I think it'll be closer than what the sports books anticipate. And that gives, Luka more chance on the floor, more chance to rack up points. So I'm taking Luka to score 30 plus, but I'm going to put it together with Anthony Edwards, who's projected for 29.5, kind of on that seesaw between the 29 and 30. I want to boost it up a little bit and take that Anthony Edwards to score 30 points as well, coming up against a Clippers team who hopefully the Wolves should be get the best of, the better team on paper, as we spoke about earlier. The model likes the Wolves to win today, and I think if I can bring up my FanDuel here, if I can parlay together Luka and where are we here? Luka and Anthony Edwards, and courtesy to FanDuel for these odds here. I'll just give the shout out. I don't know if you have to give credit to bring up their screen. But we've got Luka minus 142 to score 30 points. And then if I go to Anthony Edwards, let me enlarge my screen. Where are we? Down here, Anthony Edwards, 30 plus is plus 118. So we're kind of anticipating he'll be on the cusp of 30 points at plus money. I'm willing to just boost up that projection a little bit and take him for 30. And that brings us to odds of a 2-leg parlay at plus 271 with FanDuel. I haven't cross-checked the other books to see if you can get better elsewhere. Most of us have FanDuel, so if you get onto FanDuel, that's plus 271. So that's my thought. Greg, I'm not too sure if you had a look at this yourself. I have another play, but I'll let you take the floor if you've seen anything that you like.
Yeah, I've got a spot too that I circled from sorting through the projections, and I think it's kind of fun to go this way live for the first time because you kind of get a real sense of what every day is like for me using the Divers interface. It's like, okay, you check in whenever I have 20 minutes. I'm going to use that 20 free minutes to go look at our player projections, see if I can find something that has, some sort of value with the sports books and try and find the most creative way to go about it. I'm looking at the Bulls Trailblazers game, specifically Josh Giddey. So if you want to search Josh Giddey for me here, let's look at his player projections. We have him around 16 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. And if you've been paying any attention to Josh Giddey lately, which you'd be forgiven if you haven't, the Bulls are terrible. They've lost 6 straight games. He has not been playing well. He's had a bunch of quiet nights in a row. His last 2 games, 8 points, 5 assists, 2 rebounds, 6.6 assists, 2 rebounds. 4 games ago against Toronto, 5, and 4. I mean, this is a guy who early in the season was putting up like 24, 12, and 8 like it was nothing. I don't think anything has fundamentally changed with the way Chicago's going about these games. Giddey is still playing a high minutes role. They're just getting blown out, and in blowouts, he's kind of coming off the court and they're going to the bench. They're playing Portland, who I don't think is good either. So I think there's another chance, kind of like you alluded to, he could be on the court, maybe closer to what we're used to seeing with Josh Giddey in competitive games. But also, it's just worth noting our projections for Giddey tonight are basically plus money across the board. If you wanted to bet him at 7+ assists at DraftKings, you're getting plus 106 odds. If you want to bet him 7+ rebounds, you can get him plus 104 odds. I am going to isolate the assists, and I'm going to run a little Josh Giddey assist ladder because I was looking back to the first time that he played Portland this season. This was back in November. But Giddey totaled 13 assists, which was, I believe, his highest assist total since that game all the way back in November. I don't know if that's something matchup dependent, but I know he was passing it like crazy the first time he played Portland. And to get plus money at exactly what the model predicts, that's something that's almost an auto bet for me.
Got you. I've got the screen up here. The Edwards and Luka Doncic 2-leg parlays down to 267. So I'm moving the market in real time. That's the power that the Diamond Sports Betting Podcast has an avalanche of money is coming in for those two in the last 30 seconds. So I feel like God right now. But yeah, you can see here we've got Josh Giddey. I think you've said there's better odds elsewhere. So even money for those 7 assists. But you're right. He voiced his frustration after the game a couple of nights ago where his rotation was very wonky. It was kind of coming in and coming out, not doing too much, and then voiced his frustration in the press conference afterwards. I am Australian. He's my fellow countryman. So all of any Josh Giddey comment makes the Australian mainstream news. So I still keep up with the news websites back home. And one of the main headlines on news.com.au, which is one of the big publications in Australia, was Josh Giddey is frustrated. So it is making waves in Australia. Whether that translates to Billy Donovan just giving Josh Giddey a little bit back, a few minutes back on the court, because those minutes have been a little bit disgusting lately. So a good call. Oh, and Anthony Edwards is locked. So the market has moved to just they can't handle the cash that's coming in from the Diamond Sports Betting podcast. I hope that doesn't mean he's out injured. That would be really annoying, because that leads in. I had an Anthony Edwards 3-point ladder play, which is probably not going to pop up now. It's all locked. So we might come back to that because someone's obviously out.
Here, let me check it. I've got DraftKings on my phone.
Or maybe Terry Rozier is watching the podcast and he's just absolutely unloaded on Anthony Edwards, and they've had to suspend the market.
That's probably just as likely as any other outcome right now. No, it's locked with me on DraftKings right now too. Interesting.
Okay. Maybe we can check Underdog for any updates, the Underdog feed. Let's have a look. This is what you do in real time here. Underdog NBA on Twitter. Have we got anything? So John Collins and Kawhi Leonard are both out. So that's what we spoke about before. They had those questionable tags. That's going to change some things, and I think we're back open now. So that was 263. So even better, or even worse odds. So if you got on it 3 minutes ago when we were talking about it, you've already got some value there. So interesting. So Collins and Kawhi, as we expected, are out. So we'll see how that goes. So let's go to my 3-point ladder, because something I did have a look at was the Clippers this season have been giving up volume from behind the arc. I think they're 5th or 6th worst team for 3 points allowed to their opponents. So I had a look at this, and Anthony Edwards is projected by our model to kind of fall in between the 3 and 4 3 points made. Not a whole lot of value there for threes, for 3 threes. 4 threes, kind of getting to kind of that even money. But he is capable of going bigger than that. And he can, if I go over to my basketball reference page here, this season he has put up some occasions. He's had multiple 5 3-point made games. If I can zoom in on that, he's had multiple of those this season, and he's gone as high as 9. So there is, if you're looking to try and take this on a little bit, we can go and have a look at his ladder for 5, 6, and maybe 7. That gets you up to plus 870. So it is doable. He has had those games already this season, and he does take anywhere between kind of what's he averaging this year? If I can bring it up, 3 points attempted. Can't get the average per game, but he's averaging a fair few. Like he can get up to, he's had as many as 16 in a game or 18 3-point attempts in a game. So the value is there if you want to take on Anthony Edwards on a 3-point ladder as well.
Love it. Yeah, I am looking at that 7+ 8-1. That feels juicy to me. If you buy that it's a huge game, that's a number that certainly feels appealing. So, all right, love it. There is your in-depth NBA look for Thursday night. Next, we're going to pivot to hockey here. Also a pretty good slate in the NHL as we get closer and closer to the NHL playoffs. The Olympic break has come to a close. Still some players under I guess fire. I don't know. There's scrutiny for celebrations extending too long post the Olympics here. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, but what are you looking at for the NHL card on Thursday?
Boys will be boys. That's all right. They won a gold medal. Good on them. I mean, what a huge weekend it was. Everyone was rallying around, and I assumed that the interest from Sunday is going to carry over to record ratings for the NHL this week. The one I'm looking at here is I'm diving into the trends page, and I thought this is a really interesting trend. If I can bring it up, where are we? Charlie McAvoy has scored or recorded 1 or more points in 10 of his last appearances. So this is a 5-star trend. And when you see that on the site, we try and bring some of the top player prop trends from various sports, the NHL, NBA, all that kind of stuff. When you see that 5-star trend, that generally means that we're projecting for that trend to continue in this game. And I had a look, if I can bring up his game log. This might be confined, this trend here that you can see is just showing the last 10 games. And I'll bring up my friends at StatNews here. Shout out to StatNews. I keep saying StatLog. StatNews. He has had, if you look back all the way, I think in January, there was just 1 or 2 games throughout the entire month where he didn't have a point. So I really like Charlie McAvoy. The model likes it to continue. Minus 134, a little bit of juice, but I would still take Charlie McAvoy to score a point to see if that trend continues. So one of my best bets on the slate is Charlie McAvoy to score a point. If I go down here, now the hockey model is really decent. There are some plus money bets on the model that the model likes tonight that have that sweet spot tag, which are the Kraken to beat the Blues and the Lightning to win. So you're taking plus money there on 2 underdogs to win. The sweet spot signal, it's pretty measly, so it's not a huge profit in this particular market in this edge range. So if you don't have the risk appetite to take 2 underdogs, feel free to leave that out. But with that said, if you take them both and you get 1 out of 2, you're going to make a little profit on the night. But once again, we dive into maybe a parlay piece at minus 190. The Lightning on the puck line, that is a really red hot sweet spot. I'm not too sure if you guys can see it on the screen, but puck line bets in this edge range, around that 2% edge range, have returned a 30% ROI this season. So this is a red hot area to attack from our model that's showing pretty decent profit across this year. So maybe a parlay piece if you want to throw that in. Not too sure if you have anything else on hockey for the evening.
No, I don't have anything to add here. I like the Charlie angle for sure. Do I wish it was closer to plus money? Of course. But I'm also, I think you know this from a personal level, minus 140 is not scaring me off of something I feel is a likely hit. So I'm in. I like it. Thank you for bringing the hockey picks. We'll pivot next to college hoops. Now, Tuesdays, we always have loaded slates, and I just come with 3 favorites from the model for that Tuesday night. There are certainly plenty of Thursday night games to choose from, and if you'd want to go live and share the college hoops best bets page for me.
Yeah, let's go.
Take a quick look at that too. So I'll give the lay of the landscape here, but as you can see, no shortage of plays to choose from for tonight. A lot of smaller games. If that's your cup of tea, go for it. I certainly will look up the highest probability plays, like Morehead State plus 3.5 is on my card tonight. But if you followed me personally, you also know I'm a big game bettor, and those are the ones that get my attention. And as you see Illinois and Florida right there, those are 2 big games later this weekend that the model is already pulling probabilities for, since the sports books have put odds out a little earlier than normal for college hoops. So the way I want to run this weekend's version of College Corner is going to be a quick check-in with a game tonight on Thursday night, then a quick look at Michigan, Illinois on Friday night, and another look at Arkansas, Florida for Saturday night. So we'll start with Michigan State and Purdue. This one will not show up on the best bet tab. But if you go to the predictions hub, just as Jason just did, you will find the full game preview for a big battle in the Big Ten tonight. What Dimers predicts here is basically no value. There is a small edge on the over at 2.8% over 142. There's a slight edge, 0.5% on a Purdue victory if you were laying that rather large number, minus 325 on the money line. And really, we think the sports books nailed it. It's Purdue -8, -7.5, depending where you're looking. And we give that a slight 50.3% probability to hit. But obviously, you see there it's a negative edge. So we would not technically recommend betting that as a value play at the current number. Now, obviously, things can change. That's the beauty of the Dimers model. You can check back in and sort of if there's any line movement towards maybe Purdue -6.5, maybe all of a sudden we do see an edge. I got to say, just personally here, I was surprised that this number came out and stayed around Purdue -7.5. Purdue -8 is where it was this morning. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do see some more movement toward Michigan State late. The Spartans played Purdue once last season and came away victorious against this exact group of Purdue seniors. They kind of know exactly what to expect, and they attacked it really well, albeit at home in East Lansing last year. But these are two very similar teams, great passing point guards, great rebounding teams. You would think home court advantage will be a big deal for Purdue, but I also got to admit, Purdue has not been at their best at home this year. I was in attendance last week when Michigan blew them out of their own gym. They lost to Iowa State by 24 earlier in the season at home as well. So that Mackey Arena voodoo that we're used to seeing really impact a game like this just hasn't fully been there this year. For me, it's a stay away. If I was going to play it, I would play the over, which coincidentally is where we show a slight edge. But even that isn't sizable enough for me to actually play it tonight. Next up, I want to look at the Friday night game because we do have a best bet. That'll be Michigan-Illinois. And this is about as exciting of a regular season game that you can find at this point in the season. The number 2 team on KenPom versus the number 4 team on KenPom in the country. Michigan and Illinois are national title contenders. And depending on how the bracket shakes out, it won't be a surprise whatsoever to see them in the Final Four against each other here. Illinois is a slight underdog at home based on where the early lines have come out, which is honestly a shock to me. And I say that as a Michigan basketball fan, but Illinois is the best offense analytically in the last 25 years of college basketball. And they have shooting everywhere. They play 5 shooters at all times. There isn't a player in their rotation that is not a three-point shooter. In fact, their only average three-point shooter is Peja Stojakovic's son, Andre. That should tell you how good they are as a team full of shooters. And that's a nightmare for a Michigan defense that wants to employ all these 7-footers. Adai Mara's 7'3". They play drop coverage with him. He puts 2 feet in the paint. He's going to be tested to see how he can scramble out to the perimeter in this game. I just think it's a nightmare matchup. So I look at this one as a really good opportunity, a really good price to back a home team that has got to be motivated to take down Michigan. You also keep in mind for this, Merez Johnson, Michigan's second leading scorer. He's a sophomore. He played his freshman season at Illinois, and there are some rumors that Michigan sort of tampered him away from the Illinois program. With that crowd so venomous behind them, trying to get some revenge at Merez Johnson, this is going to be the toughest test of Michigan's season, a Michigan team that just lost to a similarly potent team to Illinois in Duke on a neutral last weekend. I'd add, too, in terms of series notes between these two teams, Brad Underwood has won 9 straight games as Illinois' head coach against Michigan. Now, only one of those have come against Dusty May. That was last season when they scored 61 second-half points in Ann Arbor. But whatever it is, when he sees the maize and blue, he has had answers for some pretty good Michigan teams over the last 6 years. I think you got to expect that to continue. And bonus points because I'll be in the building for this one. I got a 4-hour drive tomorrow to get to my media row seats to take a look at what happens. One more game on Saturday. Oh, you got something, Jace?
No, I was just going to make a bad joke about if the bet's on a bad track, you can maybe intervene in person, which is,
Well,
we don't encourage that, of course.
it won't be the first time that I'm carrying a moneyline ticket in Media Row. Let me say that. Just don't tell anybody I said that. Let's go to the Saturday hub. This is my favorite game of the Saturday slate. It's Florida against Arkansas. And Arkansas is sort of I don't know, just a college basketball fans' darling team this year. They're very fun. They've got two freshman guards in Darius Acuff and Malik Thomas that you're going to hear in the NBA for years to come. I'm already salivating at betting Darius Acuff 3-point ladders in a couple years. But they're going to be tested here. As much as they've been a force to be reckoned with in the SEC, they've struggled away from home against good teams. You think back to blowout losses against Auburn and Georgia, and they really are up against a terrible matchup for them in the Florida three-man front court of Ruben Chinyelu, Alex Condon, and Thomas Haug. All three of those guys, as big, as athletic as Arkansas's best front court player, Trevon Brazile, they aren't really going to have answers. They're a team that goes small and plays 3 or 4 guards at a time. You cannot go small against Florida because their bigs play like bigs, but they move like guards. It's just a nightmare matchup. Florida at home here. They have handled all of their biggest tests of SEC play with flying colors. A lot of blowout wins recently, including sizable victories over Kentucky, Alabama at home by 23 points. I think you expect to see more of the same. And I was kind of hoping, I really hesitate to be the guy rooting for the model to lead me one way or the other. You should just listen to the model and follow it. I was hoping that the model was going to like Florida for this one because I had a gut feel this would be my favorite play of the weekend, and the model didn't let me down. A 57% probability that Florida covers the early spread of -8.5. You see that sweet spot tag as well. Jace already talked about that earlier in the show, but anytime you see the sweet spot icon, it's almost a must-add for me. So if I had to pick from the 3 games we talked about, Jace, this is my favorite. I think Florida -8.5 is probably the go-to bet for college basketball fans this week, but with plenty of marquee games, we've got plenty of best bets to choose from.
So I know a lot of people hang off this particular segment each and every podcast. I know the guys in the Diamonds Pro Discord definitely blindly tail Mr. Greg over here. So let's just recap. So are we no betting Purdue? Is that correct?
I'm staying away from Purdue.
Okay.
If you're braver than me out there, listeners, you let me know. Tag Dimers either in the Discord or on social media, especially if you go for that over. I may regret it, but Purdue is to stay away for me tonight. We're going to lock in Illinois. I'm going to take the money line, get a little bit better odds, but the model shows a 57% probability, 3.5% edge on +1.5. And then I am all over Florida -8.5. That's going to be a 2-unit play.
Okay. Before we finish up on College Corner, I don't get to talk to you too often. Give me a 30-second from the man who's the college basketball expert. Give me a 30-second summary or viewpoint on this whole Darren Peterson drama saga, whatever it is. Is it legit, or is it just a whole bunch of talking heads talking rubbish?
If it's legit, it's scarier than if it's not legit. And that's the thing I don't think I've heard any talking head admit. It's like the Darren Peterson defenders are like, oh, he's just hurt. If he's really hurt, this is the strangest injury from any player I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. And I almost hope it's just not real. And someone comes out and says that, and then we can at least bank on no issues at all in the NBA. But the fascinating part to me is Kansas is a pretty damn good team without Darren Peterson or with him in and out of the lineup. And my gut feel tells me he's got some terrible advice givers around him. And it's strange because coming in, the reputation was A.J. DeBonsa, the BYU freshman who has the quote-unquote camp concerns. Peterson was a by-the-book, great leader, great kid. He's the last person you would expect to be going through this. Maybe that's a point toward a real injury. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's see if I can bring up just quickly. I think I've got his manager who's giving him the advice up on here. If I can just bring that over.
It's crazy.
There we go. There's his manager. I think the one giving him all the advice, perhaps. Is that him?
I think that's him, Jason.
Yeah, okay.
I think you nailed it. Good Lord. All right. Thank you for giving me my college corner space. As always, reminder, subscribe to this show, throw us a like, give us a 5-star review. Every little bit helps. We're proud of what we've grown the show into. And obviously, we're trying out live. We're always trying to test some things and see what works. You'll continue to see this show in your inbox as we've gotten out of NFL season, and you get notifications if you subscribe when they drop in real time. It's important to get those because as we did today with NBA and NHL slates that begin in just a few hours, you want to get those notifications as soon as possible so you can fly right to the picks and add them to your cards. Let's close the show as always, Jace, with what else is going on at Dimers this week.
What's on Dimers this week?
Take us through it, my friend.
So NHL and NBA, of course, we're rolling. We're back from the breaks. The Olympic break's over. The All-Star break is over. We have full slates across the weekend. I think the pick of the bunches of the slates for the NBA are Cavs and Pistons and Nuggets Thunder on Friday. Thunder is all over the place right now, but still should be a good game between those two Western Conference rivals. And then Spurs and Knicks, probably the one to look out for on Sunday. We then have as well, MLS is back. And if I can bring it up, I'll try and find. I unfortunately got stuck on Ace Bailey's manager on the screen, but let me try and bring it up. Where are we? Oh, there we go. Let's see what we got in the world of MLS. If you got a best bets here, we have a few different ones here. Some decent, kind of close to even odds across the course of the weekend. So we've got a full slate there and no shortage of bets to dive into. And then as well, if we look at a full slate, the Premier League in England, if you're someone that's that way inclined, is definitely heating up. The pick of the bunch this week is going to be the Chelsea and Arsenal game. Two teams at the pointy end or the top end of the table. Arsenal need to keep winning in order to maintain their lead at the top of the table. At the moment, there is an edge on Arsenal to win. 4% edge at minus 155 odds. I like that bet really. Really decent bet. Chelsea have been really susceptible at the back, leaking goals. So Arsenal, they're in fine form, trying to maintain their lead and fend off Man City. So decent one to look out for. Elsewhere, Crystal Palace and Tottenham over 2.5 goals. I think I really like that one as well. Tottenham have been leaking goals at will, so lots to dig into there. And golf. Yeah, we have golf. I think you guys covered this on Tuesday. Cognizant Classic in Palm Beaches. That'll update as each round finishes. So dive into the Dimers golf page. Look at the odds for winners, top 20s, top 5s, and that'll update as we go over the course of the weekend. I'm not too sure if you've seen anything that you like that you want to highlight, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm just on our golf plays we talked about on the Tuesday episode this week. I've been dialed in. Shane Lowry carded 1 under today. He's got to get it going a little bit, but we're all chasing Smotherman, Austin Smotherman, with a 9 under to set the mark early. He's way out in front right now. So the beautiful thing about the Dimers golf page, as Jace is showing you right now, it really does update for you in real time. One of my favorite ways to bet on weekends at this point is trying to jump in at the right moment live in the middle of a golf tournament and snipe the winner. And Dimers helps you do that, gives you plenty of opportunities to identify the value. So go Shane Lowry, fingers crossed. Go Florida, fingers crossed. Those are my 2 favorite plays for the weekend. Thank you, Jace, for holding it down for us while Dave was out. We appreciate it. Any final words before we sign off from you, sir?
No, that's all from me. Thank you for having me. Thank you to everyone who watched. I think we had it on X and YouTube. So thank you to everyone that tuned in. Head to dimers.com. You can get all types of content and data straight from our models. And hopefully we have a big weekend.
I hope Dave has a glass of bourbon with his wife right now. Cheers to you, my friend. We'll look forward to your return next week. I'm cheersing a Jimmy John's soda. I can't believe it. Right.
Yeah.
Gamble responsibly, everybody. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll see you next week.